How about a little fire, Scarecrow?
Fill the sky! Bring the little brats to die!
My name's Dion. I have been practicing witchcraft for, I think 15 years, just about at this point. Witchcraft, to me, is a term that is talking about a lot of different things. It's not a religion, for instance. You have people who are spiritual people who may never go to a gathering, who do things on their own, solitary practitioners who follow their own rules. That's kind of where I fit in. I don't necessarily go to a lot of gatherings or do things in big groups anymore. It's definitely a identifying term, something you call yourself that can mean different things. As a atheist child in the Bible Belt, things were really tough because I, of course, had to go to church. You don't get to choose on Sunday morning whether you want to go to church or not. That's just not a choice at all, you know. I definitely was the, 7-year-old who went to school, and while other kids are all excited in December for Santa Claus, just look over like, man, we're in the hood. He'll never come. Santa forgot about us long ago. And I ruined it for children. I ruined lots of things. Definitely one of those things where you look around you and you ask yourself at a very young age, I might have been 5 or 6 the first time I asked, if God's in power of everything, why are we living this way? I pray every night. I felt like not believing in God in some way said, screw you, man. Like, you don't get to tell me what to do from some cloud. It made me feel powerful. It made me feel like I mattered in this situation where you're a little kid who can't help your mom pay the bills even if they're starting to stack up. It was the best I could do, is to say, this is my life, I'm going to take charge of it, and there is no God to do anything for me.
Witchcraft, a lot of it is couched against the history of the church, how it's killed women. Part of being a witch is empowering the female voice, regardless if that female voice, is in a woman or a man. So it also appeals very much so to that marginalized voice, that queer voice, the feminine voice of a lot of different kinds of people.
It's for the people who need it, So if you have a lot of money, you have a lot of influence, and you don't need to resort to witchcraft. It's for people who don't have those things. Yeah, it's like power for the powerless.
This is a great powder. This was made in New Orleans, Cleopatra. Cleopatra was invented in the 1880s by sex workers. And witches were very sex positive, very slut positive, be a whore, suck a dick, whatever. Like, get your cookies. They would put it on their necks and a little bit down below. And the idea was to draw power, beauty, and respect to them.
Magic definitely works. Like, you work a spell and the thing that you're trying to make happen happens. I think that the problem with people thinking that it doesn't work is really about the way that it's portrayed. It's not like bibbidi bobbidi boo and then a rabbit jumps out of a hat, and that's what movies look like. And of course it does, because if you saw a movie of how magic really works, no one would want to watch that movie. It would be really boring.
Witchcraft in the popular media has become a circus. I have no other way to put it. It's fun, it's silly, it's goofy, like a circus, but also like a circus, there's a lot of abuse going on and a lot of really terrible things in the undertow. So I mean, I guess in the end, commercial Halloween always comes down to this, the dark, the creepy, scary trees and rats, even kind of the animal cruelty nature of it, you know, like animals that can't ever really hurt you or do too much, all depicted as part of the silly witch Halloween. So over here, I mentioned at one point the witches, for some reason, flying around on their broomsticks, they always tend to hit trees or doors. And it's always an interesting image because, again, that crone aspect, the older woman is supposed to be wise. Another one that's kind of bothersome to me is the use of our sacred items. Like, so the besom is a meaningful item in witchcraft, and it kind of becomes this hobby horse for kids when it was never about flying. It was never about magical, you know, this is what you use to sweep out your circle, to create your sacred space, and it just becomes kind of a toy. It's not respected. And again, you know, being around, there are no crosses, there are no prayer candles, yet our sacred items are up for grabs. Our sacred items are part of the joke of Halloween at this point. So it's a little disconcerting. It definitely makes you a little uncomfortable to be out shopping, seeing people trying to dress like you, this joke version of what you actually are. In order to put our voices out there, I write stories that center a fictional world instead of it being more of the Hollywood goth kids who, you know, go to the beach and sacrifice animals. It's actual people who practice witchcraft in different ways that I've seen it. I recently started a new webcomic, for instance, and in that one, a little sneak peek here is that you'll find the characters that all come in practice all different forms of witchcraft. They all consider themselves witches, but they all practice differently. And having those differences is what's going to give them specific powers to defeat whatever that enemy may be in the story.
Poetry and art, witchcraft, these things explain things that science cannot. And that's important. You know, we have to kind of contextualize what it means to be human.
I think witchcraft provides a space that no other practice I've tried provides for things like having gender freedom or having freedom to believe however you want to believe. You can definitely make it what you want, and I think that's really important as far as my everyday experience with witchcraft.
The witch is dead, witch, oh witch, the wicked witch. Ding